Run out to the car and get my laptop.
I was just thinking,
Right now.
trying to put this a little
I need it
closer,
right now.
you know.
I don't know where the car is.
It's over there. Find it.
And then clamp it so it's a little closer.
Amanda?
Go, Andrew. She wasn't in it when I parked it.
Yeah, this will work.
It's down that first aisle on the right.
Okay.
Just go out this door and make a left. It's behind the passenger seat.
Here for any ice water?
Huh?
Here for any ice water?
No, but we did get coffee. We do have coffee. And look, there's cream and sugar. Yeah, whatever at all.
All right.
I would put it in another All right. Okay, for our one audience participant.
No, there's
When we-
some people. Good.
One back there. I'm not counting Gibby or my children.
We're counting the real audience.
Yeah, the real audience.
This time of day.
This is what we do is we normally arrive at 6 a.m. and we get our system all set up with the mics
But
and
we
the,
don't
and the
arrive
equalizer and the amplifier. We're just not normally here.
Yeah, so we spend, 45 minutes, not quite 45 minutes, but, you know, a bit of time just getting everything else squared away and making fun of each other.
The lighting in here is terrible, though. It's like,
The lighting is terrible?
yeah.
You can't adjust it. Sorry.
No, I imagine it's.
There's a sign that says you can't adjust the light over.
Oh, and then after I installed, I don't know what I was doing, I was actually doing several things. And I think I screwed up the installation of too.
Oh,
So what happened?
that's never a good thing.
Well, no, but it goes to the drum menu, but from there, I couldn't find any partitions. So I thought, oh, my partition table is screwed up with my host.
No, it's not. I'm all tied around.
But,
Here's the game.
I'll be back in a few minutes. You gonna watch this video camera for me?
Yeah, it's probably HP.
You do game on front.
Yeah, because it won't work in
we got, when
the
you're set,
browser.
we
It
got to
has to
test
be
something.
an HTML5 browser.
What? What do we got to do?
Chrome remote. Chrome remote, that's
Did you
for
ever see
beta.
Pen-
Have you heard about that?
No. Use it, kind of.
No, but I got a Velcro.
Velcro works.
I was listening to the Linux Action Show.
Yeah.
There is a one desktop app for Chrome. What happens is that you
Now,
install
does it use RDP? What does it use? What protocol does it use? When you say remote desktop, that implies RDP.
Well, I don't know. I can't get that far. I found this on top last night. So, but anyway, I just want to tell you about
I
that.
was driving with that.
Yeah, but did you see my?
I did. It's like thinking,
I'm
oh my God, America's got my text.
Yeah, well, I think I probably got it earlier, it's just that I didn't see it.
Well, that's what I mean. You got it.
Yeah, I
not
got it,
the
yeah,
phone.
I viewed it. Anyway, here's the thing, you install a little app from the Chrome store,
Yeah.
and then you click through a couple little things, and then it generates a number. You talk to the person on the phone, and you give the number so they can match up, and then you're in.
Oh, so it's more like a team viewer than it's a team viewer.
Yeah, it must be TeamViewer. So what protocol does that use?
I think it uses its own one. Team viewer uses its own protocol.
Okay, so maybe that's what Google is.
But what's nice, and if it's Chrome, then it's cross-platform, right?
Exactly.
That's nice. Because that's what
But his team viewer is cross-platform too, though. Where's he at? Amanda, go see where he's at with my laptop.
He's coming.
Okay.
You know what's Andrew? Go see where he's at with my laptop.
Oh, you look to that.
In the van. My van's right there.
Where?
Right that first aisle right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I parked first aisle up the center.
Oh, no, I want to be as close as I can get.
So could you just come right in the...
Yeah, right in the store.
Oh, that's cool. We used to have a headphones player in here. Did you grab? Oh, you grabbed them that one day. You took the headphones.
Yeah. They're still in my van. I can run out and get them. Unless you have one, right?
I don't know. I was just gonna see. I got a lot of little crap, in here. I don't know.
Because we stopped using it because it sucks out the power.
Right, but I wanted to use it too because I split this going out, put my headphone in so I can listen to
Okay.
the sound quality.
I'll be right back.
Can I
Yeah, there's three. We have three of them. I already turned them on and tested a little bit. You got it on the very bottom. Yeah.
Test 1, 2, test.
Yeah, we can hear you. At least I can.
All right, well, this is good. This one.
Amanda, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right.
All right, do we turn this on? All right, sounds good.
There you go.
Yeah, so I couldn't sleep last night because I thought I had screwed up my partition table.
Oh.
And so, of course, I was sleepless and, oh my God.
We have ribbons up here in case you didn't get one.
That's right.
I think we passed out about 200 so far.
I got some good, I think.
It's on the invite for us and stuff.
All right. Where's there one?
We have one up here. I need the other end.
Oh. Well, only on 6 o'clock in the morning. And there are people who are crazier than you guys. There's people in the computer room playing Tetris at 6 o'clock in the
Well, you
morning.
probably know what this is.
Yeah.
There was this one guy out there who, when I said SMLR, he said, "Oh, it's 6 a.m. already?" Which implies he knew about it.
Yeah.
And may have an interest in coming here. Too late.
Oh.
Good.
You got something here to clean up? Excuse me. I just broke the lens in my. That is terrible. All I have to do is broken glass.
Yeah, that's about, I went to bed about.
Can you take the
Yeah.
piece here? Two.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And I discovered that it's okay after all.
Yeah.
It's like, all I did was reinstall, I reinstalled the Windows and it's fine.
Are we there? All right. So I think we're getting pretty close to start talking. Well, Matt and everything, we're still getting a little bit together. We can start. I'll talk a little bit about what we've done today to get ready. Hey, Mary, can you turn this down a little bit? On the mixer, the second switch, or the second, no, the other end, the number 2. Yeah, bring it down just a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's very good. All right, so about 6 months ago, or no, 8 months ago, Matt came to me and we were talking about starting a podcast. And at that point, we started talking about what kind of things we needed to get the podcast going. And a big thing was we wanted both good content and high quality sound. So to do that, we wanted to go with like a studio setup where we all had our own mics and using a mixer and making sure levels are right. So on a very small budget of about $150, we were able to get together a couple mics, a mixer, an equalizer, and a computer to record onto. And then we also were looking ahead and thinking, well, we're going to be at Penguicon. We're going to be at Ohio Linux Fest. We want to be able to take all this with us. So we made this box together. And Matt had the extra box, and then we mounted everything in there so we could travel with it. So our mixer, we can have the 3 mics plus 2 other stereo inputs. So it can be a total of 7 mics, right, left channels. When we record into the computer stereo, so that Matt can be on one channel and then Mary and I are on another channel.
Because I have a problem understanding amplified sound.
Well, it makes it so that when I'm doing post-production and editing at the end, that I can go through and filter out Matt opposed to me. At the beginning, it was just Matt time. So I can say, well, Matt's way too loud. I can bring him down, and I can bring me up a little bit. And because they're separate channels, then it works where we can, so it keeps the quality of him and me separate. And then January 1st, Mary joined us, and everybody says that's been a good thing. We've gotten some feedback from a couple other podcasts saying how they like that Mary isn't just a girl.
She's not just a pretty face.
That she actually gets in and does the work.
I'm glad you said just.
So that's pretty much how we started. I don't know. Do you have any questions yet?
He doesn't look like he wants to participate very much because he's sat very far away.
We should realize that most of the convention people here have not gone to bed from last night.
We did realize that. We were actually hoping that would be a draw.
I'm raising my hand.
Oh, yes, sir.
No, he hasn't gone to bed yet. He's one of those convinced people who has not gone to bed yet.
Oh, I thought you had a question.
No.
So why 6 o'clock in the morning?
Because that's when we normally record.
Oh, we're doing some block.
Oh,
And I will tell you, Tony and I came to this.
it's 6 Sunday morning.
Yeah, Tony and I came to this because we are the Sunday Morning Linux Review. When we very first started recording, we did them on Thursday nights. Okay? But it's free and open source software and it's Linux. So a lot actually happens between Thursday night and Sunday morning. So we felt like we were too far behind. Even just that two days. Not even 2 days, like a day and a half. We thought we were too far behind, so we moved the recording time to 6 a.m., especially with Kernel, because we do a segment on the Kernel, and Linus is notorious for releasing RC candidates late on Saturday night.
And didn't he
So we
yesterday?
were, I don't know, I have to check this morning.
I think he did.
Okay, so I have to check every Sunday morning because he releases them like 8 o'clock Pacific time on Saturday a lot.
Yesterday or something. Are you ready for this one? Oh, wow, it wants me to upgrade. Should I do it right here in the show?
I did the other day.
During the show?
I did a disc upgrade. It wasn't a true upgrade. It was just
Oh,
upgrade. I got mine and Mary's cards out there. Want me to get a card?
here's the scary part is when I click cancel, it crashes.
What do you want there, Mary? Ubuntu maybe?
No.
Ubuntu, which is Ubuntu with
Yeah,
KDE?
yeah.
All right. Enough said.
Well, there's two. No. Wait till the next time I hear you moaning over there because it crashed.
Yeah, that'll never happen because I'm running the ultimate hybrid edition. If you want to sit down, I'll go.
I think we're good.
You good there?
See, I'm thinking that, that they're, or I can see you,
You want me to bring you
and
a
I
little?
can see you.
Actually,
Oh. Yeah? Do or no? You're leaning forward. Let's look on. You're not going to stay doing that. Okay.
That's what I'm
Oh.
yeah, check Mary's.
Or if it is, there's like a cushion there,
It's set up,
like a filter.
So, none of us do this professionally.
In case you couldn't tell.
So it's been a lot of trial and error. And if you go back and listen to our shows through the time, you can definitely tell that it's gotten
way better.
and progressively. It's little steps at a time. Oh, this last episode, I think we did pretty good with getting good quality. Yes.
Since Tony's our recording guy.
I guess I do both.
That's mine.
All right. So, because of our low budget, Siblings.
Sorry.
It takes a second for it to connect in. See if it's good now.
Test. It is.
Hey, Amanda, can you do us a favor? Go over to the mixing board.
Turn it down.
Yeah, we'll just see if we're all sounding about level.
Yeah.
Even.
You're gonna watch the meter,
No,
and then you're gonna see me spike it way out.
no, there's no meter.
Oh.
On your handheld, Matt, see there's a second channel and third one.
Oh, that we're all on different channels.
What are you on?
I'm on 11.
No, one. You're on one. The second number is channel one. So the first slider to the far left
I'm on
is Matt. So bring it down.
You're gonna wanna bring that one.
Oh,
Not that far.
That's not too
down.
much.
Actually, that sounds pretty good, man.
Let's do this again, but let's set our mics down because we're not going to be holding on to them and point it to you, for you.
No, it,
So
Oh,
now,
too bad we didn't have any gaffers tape. We could have done this deal.
I
Internal.
suppose, but
There's a pose.
so how are we?
I didn't think of it, so it's not a good idea.
Yeah, these are tough problems. It would have been too heavy for the boom stand. And,
I don't think so. You can really crank them suckers
all
down.
right. Anyway, so
I'm gonna hold one. So.
that's what's frightening.
All right.
All right.
We're probably good now. And then as long as we're not reading too.
Yeah.
Waka waka. Someone's. Am I doing okay?
Yeah. All right. Is this on? Oh, it's still on.
No.
Do it up?
Yes.
Yeah. And then Matt, turn it around. Oh, you're gonna be picking it up.
I'm gonna do this. I think that'll work best.
All right.
I'll do kind of like that. How's this? Does it look okay? Not okay? Does it go kind of weird?
One of the things that we do is to get good quality, we have the equalizer, and the equalizer cuts out highs and lows. So I have some good headphones that I can plug in and listen to see if there's any static or humming or anything. And I think we're okay. Yeah, it sounds like okay. Because you want to always get the best quality you can as you're recording in. The other thing is that with the recording in onto this laptop, not all laptops have stereo recordings. Most laptops have just a mic or a mono record-in, so we couldn't do the two-channel. So we found this really old, or I had this really old laptop that had a stereo input, and we've been recording on that. But we've been looking around for a small digital recorder that has stereo in.
Did you have a chance to show them to Marius?
Yeah, we were sitting in the podcast together the next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So there's one.
Do you need my third plate then? Or we're gonna work?
It doesn't matter.
Is that $100?
I just 115 or whatever. I think as long as we have my on mix best is really out of it.
Well, whenever you want my third.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's I do. That's why I want to get out of my pocket.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Are you with me on that?
yes, I'm with you on that.
So what we're talking about, most of the stuff that we buy, we split it 3 ways. We have had one person give us money, so we can.
A friend of the show.
We do have a friend of SMLR. He did donate us one. So if you go to our website, we do have a donate to us button. That would be smlr.us.
So on this laptop, because it's such an old laptop, we use MH Wave Edit to record in. And we wanted to use Audacity to record in, but Audacity actually takes a lot of processing for recording in stereo. And because this laptop is a 1 gigahertz processor, that was not possible. So I can see the levels as we're talking, and you guys go ahead and start. We're going to do a test.
This is actually what we do every Sunday to test the sound.
That's 22.
Don't lean in because you want to sit where you're going to be. Is that where you're going to
That's where I am.
Yeah, you said you know.
Perfect.
Oh, all right.
Because it's different than us. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, if I turn this, this is not public earlier, right?
Right.
All right, so, anyway. Yeah, I'll try to remember that stuff. I think this will be good.
Talk about the morning.
All right, test. This Starbucks was really good this morning.
You ready? The other thing is for this last episode, we finally got some intro music / sound effects.
Oh yeah.
So let me bring that up.
This is gonna be the first. This is gonna be the first time we're gonna hear it on the show.
No, I put it
No,
on
we
the
put it
last
on last
episode.
weekend.
Oh, that's right. I remember it was at the
Yeah.
beginning last week.
We said apparently you didn't listen.
I did listen.
Yeah, those 30 downloads.
I have witnesses that I listen to the show every week, don't I?
Yeah.
Are you playing Angry Birds?
No, I'm playing Burn the City.
You cannot play Burn the City during our show.
Hey.
Burn the city?
That's what you just said. Must have bought that to Detroit on Devil's Night.
Hey, there is no more Devil's Night. Angel's Night and Carson's in the city on that night are lower than expected.
They're lower than they are on a normal night. But in order to do that, they have to mobilize like 500,000 people on the street.
Don't I still
You know you're talking to the microphone that we don't hear you on?
Yes.
You guys see this? So here, that's a grinding the pile ground.
It's Matt playing the file.
That's Matt's on the mind. Oh, that was our geeky one. We said we'll talk about that in the show.
And then brewing the coffee. Pouring it.
Wait for it. You cut the ah out.
Yeah,
No,
but-
I was there.
I don't think the
Just not
owl
loud
was there.
Oh.
I think Mary did it at the exact same time because she recorded it that we couldn't hear the difference. Because I heard Mary do it. I mean, it's there.
I can't hear it. I thought you cut it out.
So,
Because
anyway.
Mary was our ah. She went.
Yeah, and that's because when I went searching for royalty-free sound clips, I couldn't find one that had the coffee sip that worked right. And so we ended up recording. Remember that one Sunday morning?
Oh, yeah.
We recorded that. How many takes was it? Just two? I think
No.
it was just two, or was it just one?
No, it was like 4.
I can't remember.
It was like 4.
I don't think so. I think you're making that up.
I'm not. It was like 4. 4.
So this is our typical thing. We get together at 6 a.m. and we go through a little of the show prep, talk about what we're going to talk about, so that it's not just off the cuff completely.
Almost, but no.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And some of us script more than others.
Yeah, apparently Matt.
No.
Matt, I think Matt's an aspiring journalist. And he reads right from a script.
Which is laudable.
That way I don't mess it up.
Oh, exactly. But what I do then is I prepare what we call answer beds. And these are just interesting little things that I find. And I drop them into a document, and then I post it to our shared space. And then the guys take a look at it, and then we maybe talk about it. All of them sound well. Yeah, maybe. Did you take a look today?
I have not. I just finished downloading them.
You're kind of serious, but I'm sure we can have input to that.
I saw one of them actually. Matt had that same article
Yeah.
about power links.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Great minds think alike.
I don't know where being that camera.
Oh, Matt, you're giving me some home. Go ahead and move that switch a little bit.
We
have
have
a
a,
walkout. This is the pro stuff going on here.
we have a homemade solution
Oh, wait.
here. for
No, stop, Matt. Talk again.
Okay. How's that now? Except this
Do
is.
you have any metal? You know, is there any metal on that thing that might be coming in contact
No.
with this, or is this not metal, it's plastic?
I'm not sure. It's a real. I paid $9 for it, so it's not.
So you're implying it's plastic?
You know actually what it is? It's not your mic, it's Mary's and mine doing it.
Oh, is it?
Mary and I are on one channel, the right channel, and Matt's on the left.
Because Matt takes up so much audio space. So much space in audio like that.
They like to. They tell me I'm just a loud person.
No, it's your laugh. You should patent it.
Come on now.
We were gonna get a filter the size of a basketball and.
They did threaten to do that.
Yeah.
That is not a joke.
So there we go. And I did wear my EFF shirt today.
I have on my traditional one I wear
I'm taking
for
this
every
off,
show.
I'm just getting in the way.
Oh, coffee girl.
We didn't, on our website, we have a brown coffee cup. So I wanted to have brown coffee cups for all of us, but I didn't have a chance to acquire any.
That means he dropped the ball.
Why don't you take a picture of the white one, then you're done.
Because it doesn't work that way.
Oh.
Have you ever seen the website?
I guess I wanted to be creative enough that we could do it. But Mary actually had a better idea for creating a logo.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Go ahead and high five.
All right, yeah, and actually, I can use your cup just for a moment. And the idea here is that we've got a mug, and then we have SML, and then, oh yeah, I was just telling him. Anyway, so we take a mug, and then we have SMLR, and then the R is going to be, or a cup or whatever, the R is going to be part of that little handle. So all I have to do now is learn how to use the graphics package. So anyway, but that's one idea. So.
You know what we could do? We could do a contest. See if any of our listeners want to create us a logo.
Okay. We get like listener feedback once every other show, and it's one guy, and so I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's possible. We should do it. We should start it on one of the HBR.
It's not the same guy. Okay.
Yeah. Did you check out the show launch?
Not this morning. I did yesterday.
I think there was, I think Rosa was at yesterday, late yesterday. Did you see it?
That was in the middle of the day yesterday. I did see
Okay,
that.
and let me tell you,
Okay, America, I have Vanderbilt's Part 1, Vanderbilt's ODT, Vanderbilt's Part 2 ODT, Vanderbilt's 2012 318 ODT.
I guess one in 29, episode 29.
I downloaded it. Which one of those is it?
Sort by date.
You know, there's like a consistent naming scheme.
he doesn't have it set up to sort by date.
What are you
List
talking
it.
about right
List
there?
it. Put it up as a list.
If you list,
Book review.
You're confusing me.
Book review.
you,
And then go down to,
Range items
yep.
by modification date.
Yeah.
and then Mary should be at the very top.
It's all the way at the end.
Oh, then it's the latest, or then it's at the end.
What is this thing, what is this program called you're using?
Not anonymous.
Oh my God! Okay, I'll help you now. All right, book review again, Matt.
And I'll click it again and it'll restore.
No,
I understand.
Okay, hang on, don't go anywhere yet.
I'm doing it. Back up.
Go back up there again. I found what you have to do. You just close
It's
it.
fine. It's right there now.
No, go down to the bottom. Drop this down. Go down to the bottom and put list.
I like my icon.
I know, but just for now. Okay, now you can just double check and see. Check the latest one.
Yeah.
And then you can sort it. Got it?
So in Distro Watch, the weeks that there's a lot of releases,
Well, that's not right.
it actually drops off the end, so sometimes I may miss one or two. This week I'm not sure if I missed any or not.
You will have missed one.
I
because
will.
went down below.
No, I went over to the side,
Oh,
and see, it went up through, let's see here, it goes up through the 23rd.
Right, what I did though, because I was just looking to see, because I picked a couple of them, and I got some things I got something pretty interesting I'm going to share if you go, I think it's called Black Box? One of the ones you'll be talking
Black
about?
Box.
Black Box?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a little story to tell about that.
that was on the released on the 26th.
Exactly, yep, and I have a story because I turned that into a little mini last minute project, and it is a pretty interesting little thing, and I think I want to surprise you guys during the show and tell you about it.
All right.
So. All right, so anyway, here's what I did. Is I went back up to, I go for like the last 7 days. Was it in a month or?
Usually what?
Well, maybe I just did it by April, and then I just went down the last 7 days. That's probably what I did. And then I just go all the way down, and then I look.
So I did all in all. figured that would be.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know, I
now,
see.
see where how, and it just keeps going down now, what you do, you look, I mean, this is the last one we
Yeah,
had.
we did snow.
Scientific, I think, came out
Yeah.
on Monday, and that's, I think that fell. below.
It fell off the list, but I did find it.
Okay.
Stuck it on me, so we're good. But
There was not a criminal business. Not for our secrets.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was just a full stable.
421.
Oh, okay. What's 427 there?
I've got those.
Okay.
27, 427.
Was that yesterday? No, that was Friday.
Friday.
Okay. Okay, Friday night, I got that, that's good enough.
Scared me.
Yeah, yeah. I had my days mixed up. I thought that was. Alright, so I've got a couple things that I'll,
All right, this one's good.
in
I don't know if it sounds. Can you, maybe we can wait till the end of the distro section?
Yeah.
Okay. It works a little bit easier for show notes.
I don't know, I think you should just take the distro section over there.
Because she can actually pronounce the names.
Oh, speaking of which, I did.
Oh, we have another audience member. Welcome, sir.
Okay, we're not.
He just heard there was free coffee, that's why he's here.
Yeah, and we've got, because you've gone that extra distance to show up this early on Sunday, we've got ribbons.
We do have ribbons on the table in front.
Okay, and we haven't started recording yet, because we're not gonna start recording till around 7 or something.
Oh, I figured as much about it.
Yeah, so we just got ourselves set up on this.
Yeah, we were talking about what we do every week to set up and
Yeah.
get ready for
I
the
think I've already got one of these.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've been working them out the last few days.
So yeah, lots of people know.
I think we guys have about
We
200.
were like handing them out on the elevator and just busting into other people's talks and going, hey, have one of our ribbons.
What were you just talking about?
You know, I don't think we've actually.
You're talking about taking something over, I think, or re-recording it, or I don't know.
What's that?
I thought I heard someone say something about making sure you can pronounce everything right.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
thank you very much, because that's what I was gonna say, because I think it was last week or the week before, we were talking about Magia. And there was right, but if we want to know how to, actually, I went to the website just to find out how to pronounce it.
And you got on those Maggie?
No, I found out that they don't really care how you pronounce it. And that's true, they said there isn't an official pronunciation of it.
Some of the words I was right with Maggie.
Well, you were right, but I also was right, because the word is derived from the word magic. So, anyway, so
See,
one
I
was
would say
inferred. Magia, yeah, Magia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So anyway, but that, I think that solves that little mystery that we had.
You know, I don't think we've actually introduced ourselves.
We have not.
So I just started talking earlier as we were sitting up. But
Because we only had one audience member, it didn't seem important.
No, we have to-
now we have two.
Yeah.
we know these.
These are my children, they don't count.
Okay.
But
And one of them
And
is,
that's our friend Dale.
oh yes, Gibby doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I'm gonna go back to bed then.
Anyways, I'm Tony Demas, and we're from the Metro Detroit MD Lug.
Linux users group.
Yeah. So we're all from this area, and Dearborn's practically our backyard. So it was awesome that Penguicon was here this year.
Practically your backyard. I still have to travel.
I think it's about the same distance for both of us.
Yeah, because Tony's all the way out in Robbins.
Yeah.
And I live in Detroit. My name is Mary Tomich.
Mary, could you
And
put
I'm-
your laptop back down a little bit? Just
No, this
push
you
it.
can't see
Since you
it.
can't see it.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you put the
Watch
tripod
the tripod on the stage.
That's better. We're set.
Can you see that?
Kind of. You're making me work to know it.
And I'm mad at it.
Oh,
I live in Redford
I'm
Township,
doing
so I'm really
convention
close.
bits. You know, we talked about that yesterday. I'm doing convention bits this morning.
Yes,
Just to.
they come after the distro
Yeah,
lunch.
because what we do is the first podcast of the month, I list all the Linux or open source software conventions for that month. And because the first of the month is like Monday or Tuesday, I think.
So we'll be in the middle of the week by the time.
Yeah, so we
It's
decided to
like-
push it forward, so. Anyway, yeah, because otherwise it's like the 6th or something. But,
Yeah. So we've known each other for a few years now.
Oh, longer than that.
Matt and Mary's known each other for over 10 years.
I've only lived here for 9.
I was gonna say, it's been like 8, we've known each other 8 years.
Yeah, I think it's been about 8 years.
8 years.
And I think it was around 2000.
I hate to admit it, but it's been 8 years.
2003, 2004 is when I started coming to the NBLOG meetings, and that's when we met. But we meet at the Inkster School. What is that?
It's a charter school called Gaudior Academy on the corner of Abigail and Inkster.
Yeah, and Matt's the IT guy there, so we always have a computer lab that we can meet at and pre-read. So we actually record our show there also. And what's nice is that we can get in Sunday morning, it's silent, so we can turn all the sound off, so there's no noise in the background, and it gives us good quality when we're recording.
Who is that number I was telling you about? Chrome. I think you already have Chrome installed, right? I'm going to go to the Chrome store.
We're not going to do it right now during the show. Sorry.
We're not recording.
Not yet, but we're not
We're
going to.
We're waiting out there.
They're out there. And when we type and just install stuff, that's not good for them.
All right, well, let's work on this. We weren't just going to install stuff. It was all a prelude to a very interesting little app. I'll call it an app, but it's available in the Chrome store, and it allows 2 laptops or 2 computers that are running Chrome that are separated, there's different locales to remote into it. And
If you're familiar with TeamViewer, it's basically TeamViewer for Chrome.
so.
Anyway, I actually had a question for the audience. Who has actually listened to the show? Any of you guys? All right, not yet.
Not yet.
So
we will look forward to you now as future listeners to our
Take a
podcast.
listen.
We have, what, about 300 regular listeners worldwide?
Pretty close, yeah. We have regular download. I think it was 320 in a week this last time. But I think it says regular.
I just look at the total downloads and knock like 50 off and say those are regular.
We use WordPress for our website, and we use the Blueberry podcast plugin. So it also gives us stats and stuff in there. It gives us one number per file, so it doesn't matter whether you listen to it on the website or if you download it or if you use a podcatcher. It gives us one number per downloads. So for episode 28, which was our last episode, which has been out for a week now, we had 81 downloads for the OGG file and 260 for the MP3s. I think MP3 is the higher one because that's our main RSS feed. But if you actively look for OGG, it's there and you can download it.
We just figured that most of the world is actually running Windows, and even though they're probably listening to us, I don't know. We just thought that MP3 would be better as a feed.
We can go in and look at the stats and break down what operating
I'm only
systems.
downloading MP3.
And I think it is 70% Windows, if I remember right, yeah.
For some reason, we're really popular in Denmark. I don't know why.
Have you ever heard of the Hacker Public Radio, or HPR? They're like a user-driven radio podcast system, and so they run us monthly. And each time we're on there, we get a couple extra listeners. And I like listening to the other stuff because you can just call in. They have a phone number. You call in there and you just start talking, and you have a podcast going. So their big thing is to have low barrier of entry to start podcasting.
They want a lot of people to podcast. I'm not sure why, but they want a lot of people to podcast.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the podcasts that are already out there, there are some that really are not good. Hopefully we're not one.
Hopefully we're not.
I think 6 months, hitting 300 downloads an episode, I think isn't too bad.
No.
And a couple people like this.
And sometimes when we are recording, we have to mark the time.
Yeah.
Something happens during the middle of something, we'll mark it, and then we kind of backtrack a little bit.
Usually it's me having to run to the bathroom.
Oh, the worst one.
I might be in trouble this morning.
We don't have our mics don't have a cough button, so we usually have to go back and turn that out.
We're not quite as flexible here as, because we have rolling chairs, so we can push away.
Yeah, right.
pages, you'll see exactly how one of these is put together. Did I tell you? Another one of my little stories.
Yeah, we'll hang on to it, right? Can you do that?
Yes, I will.
All right. So any questions yet? If there's any questions, you can just shout it out, you know, ask us.
Even during the cast?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's the whole
that's
purpose
the whole
of
point of
recording.
being in front of a live audience.
Okay.
Did we just say the same thing as
Yes. I heard it.
Stereo man.
It was. That was in the right channel?
Oh, I guess I should have called for the barista.
Oh.
The barista, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're here. One is here to sleep and the other here is here to get us coffee.
If someone pours something hot on someone else's neck,
No, because then there will be no loyal intuition paid for it.
So we asked for coffee, and I'm not sure who's paying for it. They said we didn't have to, so we'd like to thank it's either the hotel or us paying for it. So thank you.
Thank you for the coffee. Because I wanted to stop at 7-Eleven on my way here to get a coffee. However, there was not one on my way here.
There wasn't. There's like 7-Eleven every other block.
It's like I got on Michigan Avenue from Telegram, and it's like the neck right after Michigan Avenue Telegram. It's really stuff above it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Chrome. I did install that.
See, that's why Mary wasn't talking. She was installing software.
Is that a regular podcast?
Well, I don't do that during the podcast, but
Much.
I love it. We did last week.
what did I
We
do?
did.
No,
We did. At the end of the show last week, we were all just started like doing.
Well, but except we were talking when we did it. You know, we did.
No, yeah. After I said this week's
I did
for
it.
drink audio.
Yeah, there was like bits of like 15, 20 seconds of silence. So I can edit that out down to about 3 seconds. So you can tell we were doing something, but it wasn't as much of a pause.
And then I think we talked about it too a little bit, and we kind of referenced it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But so far we don't do this live, so this is actually our first live recording.
So when you listen to it, parts may be edited out.
Yeah.
For
And
content.
the main reason is that the school we're at has a really bad internet connection. It's really slow. It's like
Okay. We currently are on a 3 megabit connection there, but May 2nd, that either goes to 20 megabits.
Next week.
Yeah, that either goes to 20 megabits or 100 megabits. I can't remember.
But either way, it's going to be better.
And so we've been throwing around the idea of using Google Hangouts to have it stream live, and then Google Hangouts also records, or maybe it's on air. Google Hangouts on air records by default.
I don't know. Linus Torvalds was talking about that, or was it Greg Cohart? One of them was talking about that on their Google Plus page earlier this week because he wanted to be able to like do a screencast. The easiest way for him to do a screencast, he was talking about using a Google Hangout to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna need to clean this.
Amanda, find a Kleenex on there.
Or, oh yeah, that
Just get her now. Get her now.
Anyway. Amanda, thank you so much. I'm sorry that you, that your dad was forcing you to. Thanks so much.
And wake your brother.
So far what we have is we use like an online storage to throw all of our files that we share amongst each other.
It's called Box.
Yeah, we use box.com. And although Mary and I were listening to a couple other podcasters, and they use Google Docs, which may be a better way to do it.
I was thinking about that myself independently actually, so maybe your mind is doing
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is I hate Google Docs.
Why? Well, you're gonna.
Because I'm
title bar, there's an option to keep it above everything.
No. I'm
Yeah,
not
you know
on
that,
that.
don't you?
I'm still using Alt-Tab, Mary.
Although I know there's something else we can convince you to do. Big value, BYO.
Oh, Viola, if you're in the terminal line, kicks ass. I just learned about it yesterday.
I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I tried telling him about it.
Tony has been trying to tell me about it for 2 years, and I've been like, oh yeah, that sounds good, and totally ignoring him.
It's installed by default on Ubuntu.
Oh, what do I use?
So just type BYOBU on, yeah, CLI. BYOBU. And it's it's not installed on yours.
Well, 'cause she's running Ubuntu.
I don't think she'll get it.
It
Anyway.
does.
Anyways,
Because Ubuntu is now the best stepchild economically.
It's a wrapper around.
You just put it for adoption.
So it gives you a little status bar at the bottom, and it allows you to run multiple sessions. It's kind of, I view it similar to being tab browsing in Chrome or Firefox, but for the command line. So you can have multiple windows open, and you just flip between them. And if your session crashes, like if you're promoted into a server, and you're doing all this, and your SSH connection drops, you connect that in, and it brings exactly what you're doing right back.
But that's only if you're also running screen on the server, isn't it? If you're only running screen locally, it doesn't work.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, but you're running actual separate shells, 3 different shells. Mary's kind of showing me tabs. Yes, and the graphical.
I've seen, or I've used an extern thing that will have tab shells in it, and I just use it.
Is that screen where you use a screen?
No, it's extern has that.
Oh, Xterm has that too?
Yeah, G-turn and Mary's using.
Oh, yeah, like when I'm using like the pseudo terminal in Geno. Yeah, you can do that, multiple sessions with tabs in that.
But the problem is that it doesn't keep it going if you actually X out of your.
Right, if you
Even
can
though it shuts all your sessions, where screens will keep it running by.
That is my old.
Yeah, and it gives you a status bar at the bottom that tells you your processor, your RAM you're using,
Very nice.
your IP address, the date and time.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
So we are.
Mark that time to cut that, are we recording?
All right, well, I have it installed.
Why don't we start the show?
All right. Huh? Oh, I gotta bring that back up. I closed it.
Tony?
I think you put it in usually after the.
He does, but since we're live, he was gonna, put it.
All right.
Hang on. Let me get
Good
back.
idea, good idea.
VLC opens pretty quick, so I'm gonna use that instead of Banshee.
I don't know if we said it, but we normally don't sit in one.
So
The coffee break.
We usually have small tables there.
And we sit in
Facing each
it
other.
so that we can see each other without looking away from our mics.
So Mary put together this little sound. It's about 25 seconds sound like.
That long?
It is on there. I don't know why you can't hear it.
Yeah.
So I'll have to crank up that.
Because Mary, at the end, was supposed to be like a, and that Mary was our person, but you can't hear it. But you hear the coffee grinding and then the percolating and then the pouring.
That's right. All right, so that's that. Are you gonna say a little intro?
Well, actually, I want to bring something up.
Well, you're
There's-
gonna be editing half this out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or we'll put it at the end, because.
We can do that. We did that last week with that.
Some
With that.
Goombas.
With the. We did that last week with the. Hey, this isn't really cool music.
Our outro music, yeah, it was represented as being punk music, but it was.
And it was not. As soon as Tony started, because I like classic punk from way back. I mean, Ramones, the New York,
Because you always say that.
the New York Dolls, you know, that whole genre back then. And he started playing, I'm like, Tony, dude, that's not punk.
And then I remember that I was searching the album. The reason it came up because the album name said, "This is not punk." But anyway, we've got 8 other sound bites that we use throughout the show.
Welcome to the Sunday Morning Linux Review with Matt Andrews, Tony Venus, and Mary Jones.
Where'd you get that?
We have, Tony has a relative who is a professional voiceover guy.
He's our audio wizard. He's got the connections.
I am.
And the know-how.
Anyways, and then when we don't use that, like when we do special episodes like this, and then once a month we record on Saturday night after the love meeting, then we'll say it ourselves. So here we go.
All right.
Welcome to the Sunday Morning Linux Review with
Matt Enders.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to say that.
You are, but I was waiting for you to do it. Mark that time, we'll do that over.
That's right, we're working on it.
All
I know I go last, so.
Well, I guess this is the Penguicon edition of the Sunday Morning Linux Review with Tony Venus.
Matt Enders.
And Mary Tillage.
All right, and then we start out with a little bit of catch up from last week. It's like Penguicon, it's the big thing going on.
That's right.
Yeah, like what we did and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, a little something what I did.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, okay. Yep, I was browsing the internet and I came across an interesting site for me, and it actually was some icons for KDE, and it's based on that Rosa distribution, which I think came from Andriva. So what I did is I went ahead and installed them, and they're really, I mean, the install file is like over 100 megabytes because it's got icons for everything, even the small things in the Dolphin. So I spent a little bit of time doing that, and there'll be a link to the article so that anyone who's listening and wants to download those that icon set can do so. So that was one thing I did, and I also wrote a technology article for our community newsletter.
Was it Linux? Did you tell them all about Linux?
No, it wasn't. No, this one wasn't. But I am going to be introducing them to it. But what I did is I wrote about Prey project.
Oh, where the
It's an open source.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is very cool. PreyProject.com is it's a site for this application that will track your stolen laptop or your missing laptop. Presumably it's stolen, but it could be someplace.
I remember Mary installed it and reported hers as stolen. And then every time she would log in, her webcam would come on every 10 seconds and take a picture of her and report back the location and the picture to the website.
Yeah, and we tested it, and it was really pretty impressive. So anyway, I decided to write an article about that, especially because someone in my neighborhood's laptop was stolen. It was about a month ago.
Okay, not surprising.
Yes.
Dude,
All right.
it's open source video monitoring. So everybody can get their own security cameras set up in their houses.
Oh, ZoneMinder, I think is the one that I'm aware of.
The ZoneMinder is one, but if you want like a whole server solution, then Linux MCE has it built in too.
Linux MCE.
Yeah, MCE is the Media Center edition, but it also has a security monitoring system in it also, which is pretty cool. You can use cameras and sensors and then whenever the alarm goes off, it turns on all the TVs in the house and starts blaring the warning, and then you can, on your phone, you can call back in and start talking to the
Get out, thief, get out.
Yeah, you can.
We're watching you, we're watching you.
The police are on the way.
But your insurance is a little bit now.
Oh, yes, they are.
Okay, I had a customer get broken into. They had video cameras and the alarm going on. That it took the cops so long that they cleaned them out, spray painted on the wall, "You've been robbed," and we're gone. The cops showed up 3.5 hours after the alarm started going off. Come on.
I'm not aware of that story. I think you made that up.
I did not.
All right, so anyway, that's what I've been doing. So, and Tony, what have you been up to?
It's been a slow week for me, and just different things going on around home and stuff.
All right.
Plug the laptops.
I I did not really have any, I have a lot of personal stuff going on this week, but hopefully that's gonna calm down. I'll have more to report next week on what was I doing this month.
All right, good, we'll look forward to that. We'll look forward to hearing as to what you've been up to.
There is one thing that Gibbs just reminded me, and I'll put a little plug in. I'm starting a little business, Gibbs investing in me, that we're going to sell used laptops. And so this week that's picking up, and I'm going to be getting them, and they'll be for sale. D830s, check out venushosting.com, and you can buy it right through the website.
What do you have installed on it? Ubuntu?
Yeah. Well, it comes with a COA for Vista.
They're gonna put Windows on them. They're gonna put Windows on them.
I'm probably going to run Ubuntu as default, and then if somebody balks at that, then I guess I'll put the other operating system.
Vista.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's legally, it has the key on it.
It's still not legal to read the Google, but I don't get into that.
It has the key on it. Anyway, I actually have a soundboard here. I'm marking it, so.
Matt, what's happening with the Colonel?
All right, the kernel news this week. We had no release candidate this week, so the mainline remains 3.4-RC4. Our stable updates were on Sunday, the 22nd, at April 2012 at 16:47 Pacific Daylight Time. Greg Hartman released kernel 3.0.29. There were 55 files changed, 500 files inserted, and 207 files deleted. Also on Sunday, April 22nd at 16:49, Greg Hartman released kernel 3.2.16. There were 69 files changed, 488 files inserted, and 247 files deleted. And then also on Sunday, April 22nd at 16:50, Greg Hartman released kernel 3.3.3. There were 78 files changed, 538 files inserted, 319 files deleted. And then, later in the same week, because Greg is a busy beaver, we had another update on Friday, April 27th at 10:14 Pacific Daylight. Kernel 3.0.30 was released with 65 files changed, 314 files inserted, and 266 files deleted. And then also on Friday, April 22nd at 10:46, Greg released 3.3.4 with 96 files changed, 544 files inserted, and 382 files deleted. And I have no kernel quote this week because I had too much stuff going on in my real life.
Sweet.
Oh, thank you for that update, Matt.
All right.
Yeah, so I know we tried doing some interview, or I tried an interview a few weeks ago. Somebody that actually worked on kernel stuff, and I wanted to try to get a layman's description of what the kernel does. Because both Mary and I, we're not kernel people. But that, hopefully, maybe that'll come up later.
He is Matt.
Matt thinks he is.
Well, we know you report on it very well.
I stay on top of what's going on.
Tony, what's going on with the Linux distributions this week?
We have a ton of distro releases this week. We have, the reason it will look pretty big is because
Half of them are.
yeah, all the different Ubuntu releases. But aside from that, there's still a lot. Starting off on the 24th, we have Scientific Linux 5.8. And if you're not familiar with Scientific Linux, it's built on the source from Red Hat Enterprise, and it's mainly geared toward academic things. So it's similar. It's very similar to CentOS.
Yeah, it's like CentOS in the fact that it's a Red Hat clone, but they add some extra packages in there to make working with a scientific environment more easy.
Yeah. And then on the 24th also is Linux Mint 2012-04, which was the Debian edition.
Any comment on that?
I did use that as the base install for my hybrid installation that I'm running now, which we talked about last week, but I can do it again if you like.
No, I heard enough last week.
Okay.
Did you use the 2012?
I did.
edition?
I did. I used it in the RC version. It was an RC version. What I did was I installed Linux Mint Debian, and then I commented out all of the repositories except for the one that has cinnamon in it, and then put the Debian testing repositories into my sources.list, and then did my first update, and been running happily ever since.
We also have Untangled Gateway was released on the 24th. That's a Debian distro designed for firewalls and gateways. There's a ton of distros for firewall type things. So it's kind of you just get in and try it, see what you like. On the 25th, Tiny Core Linux 4.5. That's one of the minimalist distros for
I've
desktop.
actually used that. It's 10 megabytes. It installs 10 megabytes.
That's pretty small. Also on the 25th was it Dragon or Dragora?
Dragora.
It's from Argentina.
2.2. It's a Libre distribution.
Which means you
Don't
could
get
go
me started
through,
with Libre.
well, it means you could go through a little bit of pain if you don't have a wireless card that's got some free drivers for it, or you've got other issues.
Right. Well, this one's built.
I just don't want to have to work that hard to make my desktop work.
Right. Well, and last week there was a Libre release, and what was it called?
Triskel.
Triskel.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks
It
ago?
was 2 weeks ago because we got that listener feedback. Or was it last week we got the listener feedback?
Pretty sure, yeah. It was last
All right, never mind.
Quiet
I'm
now.
in a daze.
Yeah, I think we'll
Anyways,
talk
yeah.
about that when we get to
The
the
listener feedback at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Also on the 25th was ClearOS 6.2, the community, which it's a Red Hat based Linux distribution designed for small business and servers and gateways.
Yeah, they just had a release maybe three weeks ago.
Well, they track Red Hat like Scientific and CentOS. So
Okay.
whenever Red Hat has one, then a couple weeks later they have one.
Okay,
It
makes
wasn't,
sense.
wasn't ClearOS used to be called?
Clark Connect.
Yeah, Clark Connect.
Yep, that's, yeah.
Yeah, but then they switched what they were based on. When they were Clark Connect, they were based on Linux.
Okay.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, on the 3rd was their development release, the RC1.
Oh, okay, maybe that's what it was. All right, what's next?
Anyway, next is Swift Linux 0.2.0, which is a lightweight distro with ICE WM, and now it's based on Linux Mint's Debian edition.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I went to the site, and not only do they have just the regular Swift, they've got like the lightweight, they've got the Taylor Swift Linux, they have the Minneapolis Swift, and they have the Chicago Swift. I'm gonna lobby for a Detroit Swift.
All right.
That was kind of.
Well, we're talking about doing our own distro. Maybe we can do the SMLR Swift.
Yeah, but we're going to use like that open system tool where you get to
Mary one.
All right, so keep going there,
Yeah.
keep going.
And then there's Backbox Linux 2.0.5, which is a Ubuntu based for penetration testing.
Yeah, and and I'm glad you mentioned that because when I was looking at these yesterday, I looked at Backbox and I thought, wow, penetration testing. I started looking at some of the apps that are associated with it, and there's one kind of jumped out at me, Creepy. So I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to check Creepy out, and yeah, Creepy. And so it's cree.py, so it's a Python-based app, and what it does is it's in the Ubuntu repository, but what it does is it will take not Twitter feeds, but you just feed it a person's Twitter name, and it will go out and it will find where they tweeted that. So if you it'll go back a certain period of time. And so you will then see where they were when they made the various tweets. I installed it. I just arbitrarily pulled the guy's name out from Twitter, and I found out he's in San Diego. I found out the street he's on, and I thought to myself, holy smokes.
Geolocation stuff?
Geolocation, exactly. That's exactly what it's called. So I wanted to mention that. So there'll be a link in the show notes to the app specifically, and as I said, it's in the Ubuntu repository.
You know, a lot of the Android apps are doing that now. For just about anything, if you're going to do posting stuff, it's going to put your location by default. So you got to look and see it. If you don't want that on there, you got to actively shut that off.
So, do you know of anyone who tries to spoof geolocation instead say, yeah, I'm doing this from the South Pole.
I haven't seen you, I don't watch it.
On the other hand,
You might want to
like,
repeat the
working
question.
in that station, but you know.
Right.
Yeah, the question was, have we ever seen anyone transspoof geolocation?
Not yet, but I'm sure it's probably happened. But anyway, I wanted to just interject that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. And actually, one other thing is that I know Matt's been putting on Google Plus a couple things, and just so you know, your location is going on to Google Plus.
Yeah, whenever I look at my phone,
Yeah.
that's my location.
So you may want to look if you want to turn that off.
I don't care.
All right.
You can tell that I'm posted from the GFS parking lot while I'm waiting for my wife to do it.
Yeah, it said something about Taylor. Anyway. All right, so on the 26th was the whole slew of Ubuntu releases. So 12.04, Precise Penguicon was released. And so I'll read off the whole slew. See, we had Ubuntu, Kubuntu, Ubuntu, Myth Ubuntu, Zubuntu, Lubuntu, Ubuntu Studio, Ubuntu Remix, and that's all that has. Yeah.
The Ubuntu family.
And half of them actually was released on the 27th. I don't know what the difference was. Maybe just hit distro watch the day later instead.
Yeah, there have been quite a few, obviously quite a few reviews of it, and I did listen to one on, I think it was a Linux Action Show podcast, and it intrigued me so much that I went ahead last night and I installed Ubuntu 12.04, and I have to tell you that I was impressed with the Unity interface, but I was also very impressed with the HUD, and the fact that if you're a keyboard person, and if you can do something on the keyboard, you have to go over to the mouse. That is really nice because you just type a few letters and up pops most likely the program that you're looking to run, and you can just go ahead and run it.
I can do that in mine too. I just hit the super key and then start typing whenever I want.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty similar.
If you're not familiar with HUD, it's the heads-up display, and you just hit the super key or the Windows key, and then start typing what you want, and then it sorts through all the lists and stuff. You have to click on, menu, then applications, then blah blah blah.
It's kind of fuzzy searching. I mean, it just really.
Yeah. I think GNOME 3 really started doing that also. So Cinnamon.
It's a GNOME 3 thing.
Yeah.
So that's Unity just stole it from GNOME 3.
So anyway, but it's pretty nice, and I think Ubuntu did a great job in this particular video.
Yeah.
What else we got?
The 27th was Proxmox 2.1, which is in virtual environment. It's an open source virtualization platform running virtual appliances and virtual machines based on Debian. Oh, Matt's asking for the and then the last release was on the 28th. Or no, I'm sorry, that's not the last release. As of yesterday was the last release, but anyways, I'll get to that one. We have Rosa.
Actually, that was a development release.
No, it's a distribution release.
Oh, okay. I guess distribution is spelled DEVELOPMENT. Sorry.
You're out of date because the one I'm looking at right here says Rosa distribution release.
Maybe they changed it.
And my distro watch page looks way different than yours. The colors are different.
Oh, that's because you're outdated. I
bet there was yeah, I think that's what it is. I think yesterday it said.
You're pulling from cache, Matt. You're pulling from cache.
I think he had a typo and he fixed that. Anyway, so I guess it's a development race, not a. Anyways, and then Tails was released this morning. As we were recording, I did a refresh and it came up.
Oh, you're right. All of a sudden the Rosa changed from a distribution to a development release.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
You were actually right for a change, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so today on the 29th, Tails 0.11 was released. They're a Debian-based distro designed for anonymous internet surfing. They also have another name for it.
Yeah.
What does Tails stand for?
Where is it? If you go to their website, it's not called Tails, it's called something else. And it's different. Anyways.
And so it basically anonymizes your surfing, and it does so through.
Tails stands for the amnesiac
if you're doing things that you don't want people to watch you, then that's an option. And they're running it on live CD. Also leaves no log file or anything down too.
It's really good for serving more and more.
All right. Well, that's what I have for the releases.
All right.
Thanks, Tony.
What are our top 5?
Oh, that's right. Wait,
Yeah, for the new releases.
let me get over. I don't use this soundboard much, so let me forward.
The Distro Week, according to Distro Watch, calculated by website hits per day.
All right, so I refreshed it earlier, and now I have to go back and refresh it again because I've been surfing around a little bit on Digital Watch. But what I noticed is a lot of the distros that are normally on there have been kicked off. Number 5 is OpenSUSE with 14. What? No, I changed it.
No, number 5 was the Gia.
The
Yeah,
Gia.
that was.
Yeah, with 1453. Did
There you go. Now it's on
before you?
there. Number 4 is Swift with
Hey, what's going on with the
1475.
Gia?
But
Is it
G
trending up
is
or down?
trending down.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
weird.
This is the second week in a row.
Oh, man.
Maybe I can't help it. I'll be right. Keep going.
And Matt, what's Swift doing?
And Swift is trending up
Number 3 is Fedora
and trending down.
with 1727. Ubuntu is number 2 still with 4732.
And trending up only because they had a big distribution.
Release. And Mint is at number 1, 5153.
And trending up.
Yeah.
Soon you'll see Matt's hybrid testing.
You think so? Oh my God.
Coming in at number 1,562.
All right, so, well, that's good, that's good.
It didn't. Anyways, so we're going on to
The open source news of the week, according to me anyway. First up, we have Google Drive released, not so much for Linux. The long-rumored online storage from Google has been announced as a reality. Unless, of course, you're running a Linux desktop, I don't know, but if it were me and my entire business was built on top of Linux, that it might be the first client I produced. They have an Android client, how difficult can it be? Every subscriber will get 5 gigabytes for free with the opportunity to upgrade to any of the following plans. There's like 8 of them, I'm not going to read them all, I'm only going to say like 3. So you get 25 gigabytes of storage for $249 a month, 1 terabyte for $49.99 a month, or 16 terabytes for $799.99 a month. So they have a lot of storage out there.
So I can put all my songs up there then.
You could, yes.
Yeah, you know, just a comment on that too. 5 gigs for free is pretty good because I think the going free size
Is 2.
was 2.
Yeah, for most places it's 2.
I would not be surprised if they up it. So what you really do is get Spider Oak, 5, with a Dropbox, 5.
Dropbox is 5?
No, assuming they go up to 5.
Oh, everybody else is saying it's going to go up to 5.
Yeah, you have 3 of them for free.
Because you have Box to go up to 5.
Yeah. Anyway, but I take mine.
You can access the service at drive.google.com, although it is currently not ready for me, except it is ready for me, because I went back now, and they said it is ready for you. So, it will support over 30 file types that you will be able to open right in your browser. It will integrate with Google+, Gmail, and Google Docs. You can share files or folders with anyone and control whether they will be able to view, edit, or comment on your stuff. Extensive search capabilities including OCR for pictures and scanned documents, and my favorite feature, document rollback for up to 30 days. Google Drive tracks all changes so that when you save a document, a new revision is saved and you can roll that back for as long as 30 days. So that is the new Google Online Storage.
So, and so Matt, yeah, is it like Dropbox where you maintain a local copy and it's backed up to?
Once they actually have the app for Linux, yes. But they don't currently have an app for Linux, which I discussed at the beginning.
Yeah, I know. No, but I'm just saying, just in general, the whole, the concept behind it is like that.
Yeah, it will be, once they have an app for Linux. Like I said at the beginning. website for Slackware went down, and the rumor mill went into overdrive. These discussions were hot and heavy on LinuxQuestions.org and DistroWatch. The discussions very quickly shifted from website problems to the long-term viability of Slackware. This was compounded by Eric Cameliers, a top Slackware contributor, when he posted this early in the Linux questions discussion: old hardware, lack of funds. I am sure that it was not his intended effect, but this was like throwing gasoline onto an already raging fire. The conversation quickly veered into the what can be done to save Slackware land. The fires were then fanned even higher when Caitlin Martin, developer of Yara Linux, which has made this statement on DistroWatch, disparaging the long-term viability of Slackware. You remember that comment about my involvement in the development of a Slackware derivative? Forget it. We're already discussing about delaying the release and rebasing it off of something with a more secure future. This successfully torqued off a huge number of people in the discussion on both websites. She responded to these comments by maintaining her stand that she was only concerned about upstream stability. The positive to come out of Martin's comments was that it prodded Cameliers into clarifying his comments. The Slackware.com server is down. This is a technical malfunction. It costs money to do something about that. Something will be done about that server. But if it takes a while, it is most likely caused by prioritizing and finances. Slackware was without its own web server for a long time in the past, and still active are ftp.slackware.com and connie.slackware.com. So what's the big deal? This turning of the rumor mill is pretty much unfounded, and I see some of the same old people pouring oil on the fire as usual. There is no reason to doubt the availability, stability, and long-term viability of Slackware. The distribution has not been a one-man show for some time. The development effort is substantial and plainly visible in the changelog, and there are no plans to switch to another development model or even ditch the distribution. Cameliers went into greater detail about Slackware's financial situation on Linux questions. He says there, it's not that difficult if everybody suddenly stops buying stuff from the Slackware store. Then Slackware will not last another year in its present form. The store sales are Pat's income, and it feeds several other people too. But remember, the core team surrounding Pat do not get a penny of these revenues at all. Therefore, the rest of the team is not impacted in any way by Slackware sales figures, and we will keep working with Pat on the distribution, just like we have been doing for the past years. Look at the changelog. Sometimes there's a period of relative silence, but that does not mean that no work is being done. Like last week, the updates can come in big gulps. Slackware will not die. Its philosophy will not change. The team is dedicated and full of ideas. If people start chickening out and cancel their subscriptions, then that is a pity. Thankfully, I see lots of other Slackware users who decided that this is a good point to make a donation or buy something at the store, if their financial situation allows it, and I went and bought a hat. Thanks to all of you for supporting the cause, and remember, if you cannot financially support Slackware, then helping your fellow Slackware users in forums like this one is an invaluable form of support as well. Slackware will not die because of financial issues. It will die if all of its users do. As Himmelmuth points out, a project like Slackware can never really go away. As long as there's a strong community around it, even if the project folds financially, and Patrick did not transfer the copyrights on Slackware to the community, it would continue under a different name. However, for now, there is absolutely no indication that any of that is either in the near or distant future.
You know, man, just hearing you report on that story and the fact that people step up when they heard about the possibility of Slackware, or at least the rumor of Slackware discontinuing. I mean, that's indicative of, I think, the open source community in general. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about the Humble Bundle of indie games, and the biggest average contribution didn't come from Windows users, it came from Linux users.
Linux always leads Humble Bundle
exactly.
in the largest contribution to receive the Humble Bundle.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Because if you're not familiar with how the Humble Bundle works, it's a game bundle that's cross-platform. They make it for all the games available on it are played on Linux, Windows, or Mac. And you can pay whatever you want for it. You can just pay $1, you can pay $100. And they track like which distributions, which operating systems are providing the most money, and the largest contributions to the project in order to receive the Humble Bundle always come from Linux.
Yeah, I think they just released another bundle last week, I think.
Not total dollar amount, that by far comes from the Windows users. Okay?
But
the per user contribution is what we're talking about.
Yeah, it was called Vernacular or something like that. Was the last release.
I don't know if I trust you for not saying
Tony is not our king of pronunciation.
Yeah, and we've given him a hard time for many episodes. It's actually botanicula.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
All right. And moving on. We have the Hungarian government solidifies its commitment to ODM. Last year, the Hungarian government announced that from April 2012 forward, all government documents need to be produced in an internationally recognized open document standard. To further this commitment, they're going to invest 370 million Hungarian forint, which is approximately 1.7 million US dollars, in applications that utilize open document formats. The two main beneficiaries of this investment will be the Department of Software Engineering at the University of, and I'm not even going to try it, it's SZEGED, and Multiratio, an open source development company. Multiratio developed an open office suite originally based on OpenOffice.org called EuroOffice. They are now going to produce a version for tablets and improve the collaborative functions within EuroOffice. Kazimir Kolozar, a developer at Multiratio, said that the development responsibilities would break up like this. The University of Szeged, or whatever, SZEGED, will do the quality assurance and usability-related research and tool development. Multiratio will develop the Office application and work on several extensions. All I have to say is good on you, Hungary. I wish that countries like mine would do more to push open formats. I've even considered suing entities like my state government for their continued use of proprietary formats on the website, which the state of Michigan does. If you go to the state of Michigan's website, a lot of the documents that they have there for download are all in .doc format. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of make the assumption that everybody's running Microsoft Word, which isn't necessarily the case.
Correct.
But in addition to you mentioning that, I came across something, and I'm kind of jumping in here, Matt, if you're not done yet.
I'm not, but we'll let it slide. Go ahead.
Okay. But actually, Microsoft Office, you know, I think with Office 2007 Service Pack 1, they are compatible with ODF 1.1, but Office 15, which, you know, they're renaming their Office suite, it's going to support ODF 1.2. Because you remember a few years ago, they tried to put forth their own standard. Was it OOXML?
Yeah. They got shot down.
It's got too many initials. It's not going to succeed. But
Yeah, they got shot down hard.
yeah. So anyway, but that's pretty good. Keep going.
All right, moving on. Less than 25% of OSS, which stands for open source software, used in corporations is managed correctly. Sonatype released the results of a recent survey showing that 500 out of 2,500 respondents said they were locked down to only use corporate-approved components. Only 49% that their companies had a policy in place. Then, 63% indicated that their corporate standards were not enforced or that they did not have a policy. Sonatype also noted that the use of open source components is on the rise. Almost 80% of respondents said that they use open source tools regularly. Around 50% have migrated to an open source development stack, and over 65% plan to contribute to open source projects. In their press release, Sonatype said this about the use of open source. Key to modern development practices is the use of open source components to build mission-critical applications.
Got a question for you. So I've seen these web-based applications, open source, web-based word processors and spreadsheets coming and all that stuff. So what do you take on that? Is that going to be like a corporate thing that's going to, so they're locking down the PC, right? So you can't download and use software, but if it's web-based, there's no way of locking it down.
Yeah, the question is, where do we think web-based software is going, web-based word processing, things like that. And I think it's going to be on the rise. Google Docs especially has this thing for K-12. And if you get the kids indoctrinated into this new process, then it's just going to happen. And that's the problem now, is that Microsoft gives such huge discounts to schools that's why the Microsoft philosophy is what gets indoctrinated. Do you know how much I paid for a Windows 7 professional license? $50. Okay, it's ridiculous how much they discount to schools just so they can get the children indoctrinated. But yeah, hopefully that's going to change. And Google Docs, I think, is a good move towards it. Moving on, we have Red Hat, SUSE, and IBM form partnership while Canonical stays on the sidelines. IBM's new Power server line will be available with either Red Hat or SUSE Linux, but not Ubuntu. After more than a year in development, IBM rolled out their new Power server systems and solutions. These machines are Linux specific, utilizing the Power 7 processor-based hardware. These machines are targeted at mid-range to large-range enterprises. They are designed for big data analysis and delivering open source infrastructure services. Canonical chose not to offer their server product on these units. Could that be due to their fear of having to actually support an enterprise class customer?
No.
This is how IBM envisions the use of this new server line. The new Power Linux solutions and supporting systems are designed to provide customers with lower development time and cost and greater performance, dependability, and workload density than competitive x86 platforms at similar price points. So, where was Canonical in all of this?
They were busy releasing one of the best distributions that they are releasing that they've ever had. That's what they were doing there.
They also have been working with IBM to deliver Ubuntu on IBM's System P mini computer. That partnership, however, floundered into nothing. Here is how Mark Shuttleworth, Canonical's founder, spun the announcement. We don't support Power because by mutual agreement with IBM, there's little to no overlap between the Power user base and Ubuntu people are choosing Ubuntu for farms of commodity servers, and Power has been adopted for highly specialized mission-critical roles. If IBM ever wanted to reach either the cloud or bulk computing market with Power, then I expect the stats above would be relevant for their choice of OS, because they reflect a real choice of those markets. And my response to that is, huh? I had a hard time following that statement, but what I think it boils down to is this. IBM and Ubuntu agree that Ubuntu would be hard for us to actually support a large enterprise customer. IBM, Red Hat, and SUSE still believe that there is a market out there for the big machine built on quality hardware, as opposed to large farms of x86 systems trying to do the job of a bigger machine. And that's all I have for the news this week.
Well, I've got conventions whenever you want them.
Yeah, well, I want to say one thing. Matt seems to have a lot of news items because he does the most research, and because he writes them out, we don't want to take those away from him. But we usually end up finding a lot of the same articles because they hit all the same websites. And Matt always seems like he's talking more. It's because he does a little bit more work than we do.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's just my contribution. I do.
He does more writing. I spend enough time checking.
How long do you think it takes me to put that together?
Hour?
That's like 18 hours worth of work.
I'm sure it is. No, I'm not going to take it away from you. I was kidding.
Okay.
All right, yeah, so I don't have any news this week, so let's go on into
The convention scene. Yeah, and I'm actually, normally I do this our first podcast of the month, but because the first of the month is really early in the week, I decided to kind of get a jump start on it. So what we have going for the month of May, we've got DEFCON 3, and that's the Android Developers Conference. That's May 14th through the 17th, and that's a technical conference for software developers building Android apps, in case you couldn't figure that out. Next weekend, we've got Libra Graphics Meeting 2012. That conference is the #1 event for users and developers of free software for graphic design, photography, 3D modeling, and animation. That's going to be in Vienna and at the Technicum. We also have this month, May 25th through the 26th, in London. I love London. Is FLOSSY 2012. FLOSSY is a free 2-day event for women who work with or are otherwise interested in free and open source software. So that's pretty cool. If I were closer, I'd probably go. May 28th through June 1st, we've got the Monaro Connection. That's a convention to discuss and develop features, infrastructure, and optimizations for the Linux kernel, Android, Ubuntu, and beyond on ARM processors. May 23rd through the 26th, we've got Linux Tag. That's they characterize themselves as the most
Linux Tag.
Oh. Normally, I'm pretty good at pronouncing it. All right, thanks. Linux Tag. It's the most important, or they characterize themselves as the most important place for Linux and open source software in Europe. And this year, it's going to be in Berlin at the fairgrounds.
Because it means Linux Day. Tag is day.
All right, and moving right along, we've got FOSCON, and that's May 12th and 13th this month. FOSCON, and that actually stands for Free and Open Source Software Community. It's a great conference aiming at open source enthusiasts, developers, and communities. It's going to be taking place in Syros, Greece. And then finally, on our list of conventions this month, we've got the Open Source Business Conference 2012. That's May 21st and 22nd out in San Francisco, California, at the Hyatt Regency. That conference is geared toward the influence of open source on cloud data and mobile software. So links for all these conventions will be in the show notes. That's all I got on the convention scene this month.
All right, cool. All right, lots going on.
Yeah, a lot. Actually, and I just noticed that I didn't really read them in date order either, so I will go ahead and organize them before we put them up.
All right.
So FYI, can you tell me?
Thanks. Mary's telling me that because I typically do the show notes post on our website.
And look, we have actually our fourth audience participant walking in right now. We had a third one even earlier that I forgot to mention.
It's still kind of early on a Sunday morning. Okay, so that's it for me on that front.
All right. Well, I think we should go into what we found cool at Penguicon.
Yes.
Yes.
We said in unison. And actually, well, aside from all the very cool techie sessions that I attended, the core Linux security, which I thought was very good.
Oh yeah, that was going to be that's my favorite one of the things that was Mark, I think his name is Stanislav.
That's Stanislav.
Stanislav.
Stanislav. Yeah, Mark's presentation was excellent.
Oh, it was incredible.
Pretty geeky, but I loved it.
I love it too. I found out about a thing called GR security that I hadn't known about. I started reading a little bit about this. It's kind of like SE Linux for the kernel. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I really like that talk too.
And I think one of my favorites is actually not even a tech one, because Penguicon, for those who are not aware of it, also includes science fiction and other interests, in addition to Linux and technology. But I went to the H.P. Lovecraft now in the future, mainly because I've always enjoyed H.P. Lovecraft. So that was pretty interesting for me. It was a panel discussion, actually, and it was interesting.
cool. And there was another thing that we learned about. Mary learned about it at the core file system or something.
Oh, that was the.
Where you can redirect the file directly to your speakers. And yesterday morning we were sitting in the Starbucks down here doing this, just laughing our butts off, going, how geeky are we? We're sitting in Starbucks redirecting text files to our speakers and making static and laughing about it. But I have one ready to go.
All right, go ahead.
That was an ls minus LA on my home directory. It's redirected to my speakers.
So that's what all these files sound like in raw. In the raw.
So I'm sorry.
Guys, that's what all your files sound like in the raw.
That's what, at least a listing of all my files in the directory.
There's no sound processing. But, of course, they wouldn't even play. They wouldn't process through audio. But raw sound. Really good.
Yeah. We just thought it was hilarious. In case you can't tell, since I'm still laughing my ass off about it.
Okay.
And then what I thought was pretty cool is that I went into, I've been using it for a while, and we mentioned it a little earlier, but Biobu, it's BYOBU, and I think we've convinced Matt to use it too. There's a lot more to it than what I knew about.
You've convinced Matt to look at it. I do think it's cool, and I will look at it. It is an Ubuntu thing.
It's a Python around either Screen or Tmux, and that was the new thing that I didn't know about. It said for Tmux also, but there's a lot to it that I like the tiling features. I think that's what I'm going to start using.
The what features?
Tiling.
Oh yeah, the tiling.
Where you can run multiple terminal sessions in one window.
Yeah,
so you can see them all at once, not just tabs going around.
That's what I thought was the coolest thing was like if you had your session full screen, you could have a big one at the top, and then you could have multiple smaller ones at the bottom, and then with a key combination, you can rotate through them. So like if you notice something going on down there that you really want to get a better look at, you can just swing it up to the big one, and it was really cool.
Yeah, like if you're tailing in a log file and you're watching what it's doing, and you just let that run in the background, and then all of a sudden you see it start doing something, you want to bring it up larger, you just hit a key combination and bring it up large.
Oh, so So you could be mounting something, a hard drive or something. If you're trying to test something, USB or whatever, testing, and then you could be taking a look at the log file just to see real time what's going on without having to go back and forth. Now, that's
Yeah, it's really cool. And you can do all this without even exporting. You can do it, like if you're going to SSH into a server and run multiple
Yeah,
sessions.
because it uses screen or team up, you don't even need X. It blew my mind.
All right, well, that's pretty good knowing.
Yeah.
Because normally I'll do like SSH change. I'll SSH into this server, and then from that server I'll SSH into that server. And that gets really confusing after a while. You know, where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah, and I was going to say too, when you're done, I've got kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah, okay. I think I mentioned earlier in our episode here that I had taken a listen to the Women's Action Show today. And they had talked about, they had actually had heard this from another podcast, so they had inserted it into their show. And what it is, this is an app that's available in Chrome browser, because you know, those of you who run Chrome know that you've got the Chrome Web Store, the Chrome App Store, where you can install various apps right in the browser. This one is the Chrome Remote Desktop app, and actually it says beta, but it's pretty solid. And what it does is it allows two people who are running Chrome in different locations. It allows one to remote into the other. You have to obviously first install it, and then you have to set up who's going to be the share E and who's going to be the share R. And then once that's established, then the person that's going to be sharing their desktop gets a code that then they give to the other person by telephone or by some method, who then has to insert it, and then once that's done, they are connected, and then they have access to the desktop to do support or do whatever they need.
Now, is it two-way? Like, do they each have access to each other's desktops, or does the share E only have access to the share Or's desktop?
The share or has access to the share E's desktop. You had it pretty close, just reverse it.
So it's kind of like TeamViewer.
Yeah.
Except inside Chrome.
Yeah, that was kind of my impression of it. But I mean,
It's a remote assistance tool.
Yeah, exactly. And to have that right in a browser is pretty cool.
That is very cool, because then you don't have to walk somebody through installing TeamViewer and then get into
So anyway, that'll be in the show notes for anybody who's interested in that. But again, if you've got Chrome, just go to the Chrome store and type in remote desktop, and you'll see it. You'll see it. You can install it, and then call up one of your friends and set up a test session and see how it works. Okay, so that's what I got for some of the stuff this week.
Cool.
All right.
I think it's all about,
I think that's all I have. What's our time on?
Total sessions from when we started recording is an hour 15. So we're actually not doing too bad. But I'd say
It's listener feedback time.
all right. So we have one person emailed us this week, and I lost my email.
It was, I can't remember his name, but
Jamie Atkins.
Yeah, because we had talked about the Triscal release last week, and then he said, you guys seem pretty negative about Triscal, which I wasn't really negative about Triscal. I was negative about Libre distributions in general. If you're not familiar with what a Libre distribution is, it's a distribution that strips anything proprietary out, such as your Wi-Fi drivers and all kinds of things like that. And I just don't want to have to work that hard to make my desktop work.
Yeah, Libre. The Libre is free as in like free freedom.
Also, it's not like follows Virgo. Okay, I got it. No, just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so, all right, well, I'm going to take the challenge on now. I'm going to, because if Jay Mathis felt that we were a little negative on it, I'm going to go
And he
ahead.
felt strongly about Triscal. He was like, he's big into Triscal.
I'm going to take on that challenge and install it and then report back on my experience. And we'll take a look at it, discuss it a little bit, and we'll kind of see where it goes. But again, as I said before, and we said probably numerous times, the great thing about Linux is the choice.
That's right.
And people who are purists and really want to just run
If you're in that Richard Stallman
proprietary
camp,
free software OS, you certainly can do that.
and we've talked about that in the past, I'm much more as opposed to the FSF camp than the OSI camp. I'm a pragmatist. I just want it to work and work well.
And not be Windows.
And not be Windows.
All right, I'm sorry, that was a little editorial. Did I go through in there?
Yeah, all right.
So that was a, I guess that was our feedback.
Yeah, so we have feedback.
So thanks, feedback. Listen next week and you'll hear the results.
All right.
I think we're coming toward the end of our show here.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on town now.
All right, so at the end of each of the, I'm sorry, Mary, did you have anything else?
No, I was just listening attentively to you.
All right. At the end of each of the show, I play a song called the outro music.
And it's always Creative Commons and freely available.
And punk, I think, usually.
No, not usually.
Just the last couple, just weeks.
Last one was supposed to be punk, but it kind of disappointed me, let me know.
Right. So this week is Can't Stop It. It's by Cher. Take a listen. Usually I play on the show. I mean,
Just a couple of seconds he plays so we can, but then that never gets on the air. Unless, of course, it says it's punk and it's not.
This is the kind of a stop here. I think that's what I searched for this week.
Okay.
Anyway,
Where's the banjo? I didn't hear any banjo.
ska is not banjo.
Were we going to try and get something that had banjo and sitar in it this week?
Oh, we did. And the reason why we did that is because we reviewed, I reviewed Chakra Linux last week, and I kind of raved about it. And this is not going to be on our episode.
Yeah, we'll throw it in.
We'll cut
We'll throw it in
this out. Yeah, we're going to edit this out. But for those of you trying to figure out why we're talking about banjo music and sitar music, I installed Chakra Linux, and I was so impressed with it. First of all, it was originally a fork from Arch Linux, and which didn't mean a lot to me, except that once I started digging in and doing my research, and the fact that Chakra Linux runs the latest of everything, and it's a pure KDE-centric distribution, I was immediately interested. And that doesn't mean you can't install GTK apps, but what they do is they bundle them together, so you've got your programs, and then you've got the bundles. And you've got a bundle manager so that you can install it. And it installs it similarly to the way Mac installs software, where it's kind of like an ISO that gets kind of mounted and it's available. All the required libraries are in that bundle. And I think we talked last week about it being, there could be a little bit of bloat.
Yeah, a little bit of system bloat because you would wind up installing the same libraries over and over.
But who cares? Who cares when you got a 300 gig hard drive? But anyway, I mean, that was my take on it. So what I wanted to do, Chakra, from Hindu, it's these energy centers. And so I was going to put a little sitar music in there. We forgot to play it, and then we played it later. It was kind of
fun.
fun.
I said, well, hey, that kind of sounds like a banjo.
Yeah. And so from there it just went down. Yeah. So then we decided we're going to try to find some music that had sitar and banjo.
Yeah. But we were very unsuccessful last week. We did this quick search last week, and we could not find anything that had sitar and banjo in it. But that was supposed to be Tony's mission.
Yeah. Well.
So you fail. So anyway, that was that. We don't just say real last.
Yeah. So at the end of the show, we always have our outro
Comment.
Yeah. So you've been listening to the Penguicon edition of the Sunday Morning Linux Review with Tony Venus, Matt Enders,
And Mary Talmadge.
Hey, see you next week. Have a good week.